Welcome to the Pod Bay Door.
Hello out there in the verse. This is the Pod Bay Door. Please join us every Tuesday for informed discussions on new and upcoming movies, games, and tech. And if you love Las Vegas, stay tuned because as Vegas insiders, we can give you a unique perspective on its history, provide insider information, and reveal the unknown secrets of our town, Vegas. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We're glad you're with us. And hey, if you get the chance, subscribe to us and give us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Also check in with us on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast.
What is a podcast?
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Remember the 5th of November.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
The Lord tells me he can get me out of this mess, but he's pretty sure you're fucked.
Welcome to you. This is the podbaydoor.com. Check in with us at the .com or also check with our new companion blog, and that's thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com, or go to our Pod Bay Door main website and click on that big W, and you'll see all the extras and clickable and downloadable items that we talk about throughout all of our episodes. Coming up on this episode, we have secret hotel rooms of Las Vegas. There's some really cool places that I know Adam and I have visited as a concierge and a commercial photographer that maybe people don't know about. Also, Frank Castle and Wonder Woman have a lot of troubles. We're going to talk about that. Nerd Alert, Gear Grinders, and Area 52. We absolutely love the comments. We're getting a ton of those on WordPress and all of our formats. Have one today that I knew I was going to get, and from my article on the blog last week. Dem Warrior 1999. I'm assuming that's Democratic Warrior and a Prince reference. I'm going to go with.
Okay.
Commented. I do enjoy the podcast. Thank you, as always. But Jamey, and she spelled my name right. Yay.
Nice.
Yay, Dem
That
Warrior.
means she pulled it from the blog.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
byline. What is wrong with making superheroes relatable to people of today? Well, the article that I wrote is called "Kryptonite of a Generation," has to do with the recent kowtowing of major studios and comic book producers of the current diversity issues. And I want you to read that article, so go to the WordPress site. However, long story short, what I said was. Generations of my generation, John's generation, and I think even Adam and Sam's generation, they don't want diverse superheroes rammed down our throats, as you were saying in the pre-show.
Yes.
And most importantly, I don't want my classic superheroes, the ones that I grew up with, to be altered because of social pressure.
Right. As a cash cow,
right.
As a grab,
Right. Now, my direct answer to Dem Warrior, what is wrong with making superheroes? There's nothing wrong. What I'm saying is make new ones. If you want
be original.
Be original, yeah. Don't stop taking like I've always said.
Don't just sorry to cut you off, but don't just make Iceman gay or Green Lantern gay because you're getting pressured to have a gay superhero.
Right.
Yeah.
Make
create
original content.
Give me some sort of look into their mind as they are progressing.
Yeah.
To that point. I don't just need somebody to be gay all of a sudden.
Yeah, because I remember when Black Panther came out. It was like 1971. And we didn't have a black superhero up until that point.
Right.
So they created a new one. And the fact that they gave him a name, which at the time there was a Black Panther Party, I thought, well, that's just not a coincidence.
Yeah,
Sure.
I saw a documentary about that. They were kind of nervous, but they still went with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
was a bold move.
It was bold, but he was new. It isn't that somebody that they already had just woke up one day and was black, just like decided, suddenly he just transformed himself. They came up with a new superhero.
Kind of like
right.
the Green Lantern Corps. How they have the two new people.
The new ones?
Yeah. That was, Middle Eastern?
One's Middle Eastern and one's, actually, maybe they both are. There's two of them now.
Yeah.
One's female, one's male.
Yeah.
But they actually created new characters, which is perfectly fine with me. Don't just go back to what's already been done and just change it up, because that's just lazy writing. Like, just create new content, create new characters.
But also, create characters that aren't just, check mark boxes like out of Hollywood that we've talked about before.
The diversity box.
Yeah, that you're just checking off 2-3 things and scrambling into one character
just to make money,
just to do it that way. Yeah, and that's how I brought it up last week in Brian Bendis's. And we talked about him moving to DC, and I said that a couple of his
just
negatives.
Like else, he has goods and bad qualities.
Yeah. A couple of his negatives I said on the podcast last week. I'll come back this week and say maybe controversial is a better word. Was him creating, Riri Williams, a 15-year-old MIT engineering super genius, 15-year-old black girl. Does any of that make sense to anybody? Is that relatable? I don't know. I don't think it is. But there's nothing wrong with that being relatable or wanting to try and be relatable, but make it a little more believable maybe. I don't know.
Well, you know what? Your thought process. I don't know what it was when you said that. However, I have to support you in the terminology of negative, because it negatively reflected that character to you as a consumer, and I think you weren't alone. It's like it was unnecessarily complicated. That character.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
Unnecessary. And unfortunately, and John would agree, John is the resident linguist here, unnecessary is negative. And unfortunately, that has happened to a lot of our superheroes, which is what we're talking about. I remember a long time ago, the first superheroes that were created, not altered, but created, my wife actually liked Cloak and Dagger. And they were the first superheroes, if you want to call them that, who were damaged. There was drug addiction in one of them.
Yep.
And so that was the first one, but that was a new creation, and therefore, that's great. If I didn't like it, I don't need Superman to be damaged, other than in a super way. Kryptonite is his thing, and he all the storylines, and he's been dead once and not dead.
So you're saying Batman's weakness is his dead parents?
His inability to overcome it. Yeah,
his inability to overcome it.
And that's why I think he's popular.
I think that's the whole point of the comic books too, though, is to overcome the struggles and become a better person than how you were brought up. At the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's kind of the central story, I think, where you get a lot of interest in comic book heroes is here's ordinary people that had something extraordinary happen to them. We see that with Spider-Man. He's just a kid. He's a real smart kid, but he gets bit by the spider, and here's what happens.
It's a nerdy high school teenager.
Daredevil was another one. Just a kid. He gets blinded by something. He falls in it. Now, how would you handle that? So that's always was an interest there, that this was a human, a regular guy like you and me, who underwent some. And same with Batman. It's that childhood fear of, what happens if my parents were to be killed and I watched it? I mean, how horrifying is that?
Right.
And how he is managed or not managed to deal with that.
Right.
So therein, lies that drama. And I think that, in a lot of ways, even the rebooting or the revisioning of the current heroes, some of it I don't like. I mean, when they had Iron Man, who originally, he was in Southeast Asia. And that's why, his main nemesis back in the comic book days was the Mandarin.
Yeah.
Right.
I can understand making it, Tony Stark in the first one is the Middle East. That's for a more modern audience. What I didn't like is the fact that in the comic, he had the secret identity. And they threw that out, right? I mean, he goes ahead, and I understand it's within his character. He's such an egotist, he'd want everybody to know. But, Thor also, when he came to Earth, had a human identity, right? He was Dr. Don Blake. He walked with a limp. And that always added an extra element to the story. And I'm sorry to see that they just kind of throw that out.
Yeah,
well, right.
It's hard to see them take things you love and actually make it page for page correctly. Because you see these studios, like Adam said, like we all said, like they have to hit off their little checkbox of what they have to hit.
And one of the things is that technology.
That's all studio pressure.
Technology is our savior, and you see that, I thought, with the new Spider-Man movie, where everything was about Homecoming. It was all about his costume. I thought, hey, if I wore that costume, I could do the same things he could do.
Oh, yeah, that's too much power in his costume.
That was too much power, giving it to the technology. Without the technology, Peter Parker is just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
He's just another Iron Man clone
Yes.
at that point. I didn't like that part of the movie either.
Right. So
does it add something to the character? That's kind of what I would say.
Exactly.
If being, lesbian, gay, black, white, whatever, adds something to their character, cool. Make that happen.
Yeah.
If it's just a cash grab, that's what I don't like about it.
Don't cash grab us.
We can tell. We can tell. The audience can tell.
Of
The
course they
consumers
can.
can they can tell.
And that's the
Marvel sales can tell. Trust me.
That's the giant elephant in the theater is the fact that they're doing this. They're just as easily going to get off of this. When diversity becomes commonplace, they're going to get off of it and they're going to get back to business. And but right now,
time will tell.
It's worth dollars.
Time will tell which of these characters were important.
Right.
Or they'll just be written out.
Right.
We'll see.
Right.
I'm trying to remember, like, from the past years of reading comics, trying to remember who did diversity smoother, either Marvel or DC. I think DC is a little more casual about it. Like, it's a lot smoother than the way Marvel does it. Because Marvel's like,
They just jam-packing in there.
boom, here it is. You
Yeah.
have to see this. But with DC, it was very smooth and, like, just part of the reading. Like, my prime example that I'm trying to get to was, was it? Just trying to get her name right. Was it Batwoman or Batgirl?
Batwoman.
When she covered her whole mouth, like she doesn't talk at all, and then like you're going through the pages,
I know
next
you're
you know, boom, she has a girlfriend. You're like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's normal.
Well, there's like 5 different Batgirls now.
Yeah, but I'm saying
And
the one that I read, I was like, oh, they mentioned how her
They just
her
slide it in
sexuality-
there, right?
Yeah. And it was just very casual, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's cool. Just keep on going. It was no big deal.
It didn't add anything to her saving the world, right? It was just kind of a background thing.
Yeah, it was a little,
You're like,
it was a little
boom,
drop. It was
just a little drop, yeah.
and it was fine.
That's fine.
But with Marvel, they actually want to just
Slam it on a cover, do a whole gay marriage,
They wanna
comic book.
Yeah, like they want to go back into history and undo the whole history. It's like, dude, don't do that.
Yeah, we
Like
don't-
respect the history of the comics that we all know, and just create something new and different.
Well, yeah, and they've had non-diversity issues. Well, no, actually, the biggest one, and it's absolutely because of star power. Of course, is Sam Jackson. Fury was absolutely not black. No one ever believes
They answer that. They actually answer that in the comics. Jose was telling me they answered it in one of the great scheme of the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Both Furies know about each other.
Well, they're like alternate universe Furies or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a comic book vehicle. I mean,
Right.
that's a tool of the comic
But only
book.
because they cast Sam Jackson as that character,
Right.
in the movie, and he was so
Exactly.
popuar
Yeah.
that they changed it in the comic
you know,
books.
and Tony Stark, this is interesting. Now, back when Iron Man was still going, and now we have the huge diversity issue. But back in the day, Tony Stark was paralyzed. He was in a wheelchair, and I find that interesting that he actually moved out of the diversity problem, and then
and into the rich white guy.
Exactly.
Into the alcoholism.
One,
the drunk.
one vice to the other.
Yeah.
But
Now here's a big question to all you guys, especially John, because you and I represent an older generation. Who is it that wants this? Okay, well, let's say we absolutely admit that there is a large community that wants these changes, and let's everybody admit that it has to do with money. But who are they? Who's wanting this? Male, female, millennial and down. I mean, who in your opinion, Adam, who wants this?
I have no idea.
Does your group?
Like you said, we're in our generation. We've kind of have our set of superheroes that we like. And my big problem with comic book now is legacy. Everybody's trying to pass off the mantle, and with that comes the diversity issue. Who are we gonna
or the rebooting
and
like,
the rebooting?
why
Sure,
you gotta keep rebooting again and again. It's
changing the
never
histories of these characters again and again.
Like I was telling Adam, I was very frustrated because one of my favorite characters is Deathstroke, and in the past like 3 years they've relaunched and rebooted him twice already. It's like, dude, just
It's like a
it's one
different
story.
origin, a different fighting style,
Yeah.
a different name, or interesting.
Well, it used to be that they would remake a movie, that like, well, maybe this movie didn't get the proper attention it should have. We can redo it.
Right.
But then they started remaking good movies. So that's like, there's no need to redo that. Like they did with Psycho a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was absolutely nothing wrong with the original one. It didn't need to be in color. Just leave it alone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and then
Well,
it
you would
became-
think.
then it became
Yeah.
a TV show.
And then it became a TV show.
Bates
So it's
Motel.
like maybe they're just out of ideas.
That's
I mean,
what I'm saying.
yes,
because
they're
we
just
we
out of
discussed this.
ideas. Yeah.
It got to a point where they're either out of ideas or the writers got lazy or just can't be
it's
creative.
definitely
But it's
seems
their
some
job
lazy
to be
writing.
creative. It's their job to be creative. So create.
Well,
Like,
see, there's
if they
been
can
so
create
many
Lost-
so many years of like a drop off in creativity that now it's just all lazy writing. They don't know any better. It's just ingrained.
Now
in them
I had read that they were going to make Captain Marvel, and they had Brie Larson was going to be Captain Marvel. I thought,
Right.
oh, that's interesting because at home in my
It's
pile
still in
of
the works.
comic books,
It's still in the works.
I have the #1 issue of Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
and Captain Marvel was a guy.
What?
So yeah, so it's
I don't know.
oh,
Should we put a link somewhere on the screen for the
original
younger
Captain
folks?
Marvel?
Yeah.
For the younger folks to look up.
yeah. So I thought, well, wait a minute. So again, it's like they couldn't think of something new that they say, well, hey, we'll just dust off this old character that really wasn't all that popular, I guess.
And then they just gender swap it, and now
And
it's
we'll just flip it around and we'll
And now it's
call
new.
it new.
Yeah.
It's new.
Yeah.
It's-
Now, Adam. Now, you were called to the mat. With your use of the word negative. Obviously, there are some individuals within your generation, within your friendship group, that maybe support this. But
Sure.
Yeah. Do you feel that the people who support this are boisterous about it? I mean, or do they keep it under the table and say, I actually like a woman Captain Marvel? I mean, none of the diversity issues that are happening today. There's as with all political movements, there's extremes. There's the social justice warriors and people that are attacking Ben Shapiro.
But see, I don't think any of that's for social justice at all. It's for to line the pockets of the big companies. It's just a marketing.
It is,
It's a
but
marketing.
the lining of the pockets need the consumers.
There's
to
marketing,
buy this.
and then there's a bunch of trolls
Well,
that are
no,
feeding
but
the marketing scheme.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like with this situation of the diversity, I think that the companies are trying it out to see how it's going to go, but they're going to see sooner or later in the sales itself that's going to drop. Like the sales is just going to show you it's
We're
probably
gonna
not
we're
work
gonna
out.
see. We're gonna see. Like I said, time will tell.
Yeah,
The
that's
numbers are
what-
gonna come out. The characters are either gonna stay or they're gonna go.
I mean, if the story's good, then I'll read
We'll
it.
see.
If the story's good, then I'll give it a shot. But if the story isn't worth my time, then I'm just going to move on.
I mean, every time I think about
Well,
go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Every time I think about the diversity, and this is terrible, and I'm going to get so many comments about this, but every time I think about the diversity issue in superheroes, I think of Damon Wayans and Handyman. Nobody can take a joke anymore.
Right.
And I think that but again,
That's actually a funny movie.
It's
is
hysterical. It's
freaking
a great
hilarious.
character, but it's a new character. They're
Yeah.
not making Superman handicapped, and they're not making.
It was
Wonder Woman-
original. It was
yeah,
hilarious.
exactly. But Dem Warrior, 1999. Thank you very much. Hope that at least solidified our point. Make something new. Build a new statue. Make a new superhero. Stop tearing down.
New content,
new
please.
content. I know there's only 6
Yes.
storylines.
And no lazy writing.
but make some new stuff.
Stop using alternate universes and timelines.
Yeah.
Yeah, as an
Jumping.
excuse to jump back to.
That's right. Now we've had discussions regarding Rotten Tomatoes and the extortionists that they are in Hollywood, but we'll go into the nerd alert. I found it very interesting that the Justice League's production and distribution asked Rotten Tomatoes, can you please hold off at least 12 hours so we can get the movie out and get public response rather than
before you slam it.
And they said,
like
okay.
they have every other DC movie.
And then they said, all right.
Except for Wonder Woman and Batman Lego.
Is it like Batman Lego?
Well, no, they specifically asked for it. That they it was public. They publicly asked them in Justice League.
I don't know.
Right.
I'm saying
those are the two.
Those are 2
good-
movies they didn't kill.
Yeah.
Was Batman Lego and Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And Rotten Tomatoes did delay. To my knowledge, and all the articles that I read, there was no money exchanged. They just, as a courtesy, delayed, and then they came out with a 37%, which is extremely low.
It's not good.
Not as low as Batman versus Superman, which is 24.
Right.
Wonder Woman was high, but I think that is, I think that's a non-starter because I think it was high because Wonder Woman, again, represented a different issue.
It had too much writing on it.
Well, no, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 93 because it was a woman's movie, and was coming out as representing the
woman's empowerment.
movement.
The female
woman
director.
empowerment,
You had this Wonder Woman first real movie with this character.
Yes, exactly.
In quite a long time.
But
Lynda
they
Carter,
also kept to the
obviously,
original story in the sense that it did
Yes.
take place during World War II,
Yes.
which when Wonder Woman came out, and
was around that time. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
around that
Yeah.
time. So I thought that they were at least faithful.
No, I
to
thought it was a
who
great
she was.
period piece in
Yeah.
that time. So yeah, it was a good movie.
But we have 2 gentlemen that braved the crowds. Were there crowds?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
The
it was sold
packed.
out.
Yeah. To see
I instigated the wooing.
The wooing.
Remember, like I was yelling at, and then everybody started clapping.
Oh
and
yeah,
screaming.
Sam started the pre-movie, jitter, if you will.
You know, like the crowd wave.
Yeah.
That's why I
basically.
started.
Yeah.
I've
That was all
I've
Sam.
never attended a movie. The only thing I've
He was the woo guy.
is the applause at the end. I don't know if it was applause because it was
Well,
over. But
a funny thing about that, I was going to get to it, but since you mentioned it, there was more applause after the end credit scenes than the movie itself. So if that's indicative of it, then maybe
it's
that's
good
where
sign.
it got
I
its.
think it's a good sign.
Well, the end credit scenes were good, but I'm saying that the movie in itself was a little bit of a letdown to where people weren't necessarily clapping for it at the end of the movie. More so after the end credit scenes because they were so cool.
Yeah.
But I will release the microphones to Sam and Adam because I have not seen the film. How was Justice?
Do we spoilers or no spoilers?
I don't care.
You don't care?
Well, this podcast is going to be out on Tuesday, so if you haven't seen it,
it's your fault.
Superman races
Not my
Flash
fault.
at the end. That's
there
a
you go.
spoiler right there.
Spoiler alert.
There, we're done.
I guess we'll start by saying that Cinema Score polled their audiences after the movie, and they gave it a B+, which is in line with more of Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman for the audience.
I think Rotten Tomato got it wrong.
I agree. I loved it.
I think Rotten Tomato can go fuck themselves. I'm very sorry.
They just like
that's how I
to
feel.
slam DC. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of it. The team chemistry was really good.
Should we write our love note to this? Because first I want to mention the how they play the theme music from the animated series.
Oh, they had the score from Danny Elfman's, the Batman and Superman original scores. So they would kind of pepper it in there. It was
so
kind of
good.
a great homage to the older movies.
And then also how they mentioned the penguins with bombs. I was like, oh, dude, you got me.
So things have gotten so complicated, and Alfred was Jeremy Irons, played by Jeremy Irons, was just the classic one-liners, and he brought him back to Batman's old days where it was just fighting the Penguin basically.
Like they kept up the continuity storyline. Like Batman does mention how it is to fight in the same city for 20
Yeah, he's an
years.
old grizzled veteran at this point.
Yeah.
And him and Wonder Woman being the optimist, come together to kind of be the mom and dad of the group, if you will. And then they go and they find Flash, who was hilarious, who probably stole the movie, I thought.
Yeah, for me.
And his CG with the Speed Force and running around was probably some of the coolest effects of the movie.
The cool part about this movie was I was amazed how the chemistry worked out really well for the two directors. You can tell what scenes belong to Snyder's, what scene belonged to Josh Whedon, and you can just tell it worked out really well for two directors to come together to make a cohesive movie that made sense for me. Like Adam was going to say, the only flaw is
that it was too short.
Yeah.
It was too short. It was 2 hours on the dot. They cut out a lot of this movie. The studio.
I would have loved to watch a 2:45, the 2:50,
absolutely.
the original cut.
Give me a 2 hour and 50-minute movie, and I would have been satisfied. I wanted to see more.
It's an interesting request by the studio because the request came. It didn't save them any money
to cut it.
Yeah, they didn't say 2 hours from the beginning. They said cut it after it was shot, and so it most certainly didn't save them money. So it's interesting.
It probably it probably cost them more money in post to cut it down so much.
Oh,
and
probably
more time.
Of course, we have to mention the mustache gate. The whole situation.
If you hadn't heard, Superman or Henry Cavill was filming, I believe, Mission Impossible, and they wanted to do reshoots, but he had grown a mustache for this movie.
And Paramount won't let him shave the mustache. He needs to keep it.
So they had to do these reshoots and digitally take out his mustache.
You can tell. It's so bad.
being that I'm in that industry, I clearly saw it and that I knew it was coming. But
I forgive him.
There was only a couple of times I noticed it.
And
it wasn't terrible, but it was definitely noticeable.
It was a couple scenes where you can tell there's something there missing, but they the art.
You're like, what's wrong? What is it called?
The
Infinite Valley. When you see something that's just not right because it's too
or something
just something weird in there.
It's not sitting right because that mustache, because he's the way he smiles,
anatomically correct or whatever.
Like
it's
the mustache meshing. Yeah. But I was joking with one of my friends on text actually because he texted me the photo of the mustache situation and how Paramount told him not to shave. Right. But in my mind, I'm thinking if I was Paramount, that was the best prank ever to tell. To tell
the other studio they had to fuck off.
To tell the other studio, hey,
he's under our contract. Sorry,
you have to spend a bunch of money on digitally removing a mustache,
Right.
when another studio can easily just make a fake mustache. Like, it's easier to make a fake mustache
would
than it is to digitally remove it.
I would think so.
So when do you think that the director's cut, the 2 hour and 50-minute version, is going to come out?
Hopefully when it
DVD
comes out on
or-
DVD, I would
I would
much
love
rather
them-
enjoy that. Yeah.
I would love them to release it in theaters. Like, please let the fans watch the original cut, because I mean, it was a good cohesive film. I like the struggle for Cyborg, because they didn't just jump in and like have Cyborg be Cyborg. He actually struggled. He's struggling
Every day something changed with him, So
because his new body. Because what happened was that his body became one with the mother box. So he's trying to understand if he's human or robotic,
which is alien technology.
Yeah. So he's trying to understand his situation, and you can see the struggle with the guy himself, just constantly trying to grow. And then of course, Flash. He was fucking hilarious. Like, I think the way they wrote and made Flash in this movie, they made him more humanized. He's like the actual human.
He's the one you can connect to as the audience.
You can relate. He's
because
relatable.
he's so inexperienced at this point that he's just really like he's young, he's green. So
like the Flash is so young. They made him kind of like Peter Parker from Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
The Flash is so young that he doesn't even have a sense of direction yet.
He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's east, west.
He's literally
south,
tripping over
north.
himself.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious. And one of the best scenes that had the whole theater laughing was so Superman's taking on everybody, literally taking on everybody. So the Flash runs around in the Speed Force, and he's looking at Superman. And Superman looks over at him, and they make eye contact, and the Flash shits himself. Like, you tell, basically, he just shits himself.
He's never seen anybody follow him while he's speeding. So Superman's like the only one that can do that, obviously.
Yeah, so when he saw Superman
it
catch
definitely
up with
had
him
that
at Speed Force.
It definitely had some funny parts in this
Yeah.
movie, and you could definitely tell Joss's influence. And it
was
worked.
great.
The combination of the two directors definitely worked. Like I said, my only negative is I wanted
Too
more.
short.
They were only in Atlanta for like 5 or 10 minutes. They were only showed Commissioner Gordon for like 2 lines. You know, I wanted that continued universe.
It's good build-up.
So now for me, it makes me want to see those other solo movies.
Definitely.
You know, it's kind of the opposite. We were talking about this before. The opposite of Marvel's formula, where they'll put out a bunch of solo movies and then bring them all together for the teammates. Well, this one they brought them all together, and now I want to see what they want to do or what they do in their individual movies.
Because we're trying to figure out too, like in this one, you can kind of tell this is the beginning of Aquaman, because he's not quite taking the throne of being the king of Atlantis yet. Because when he confronts or talks to Mera, like she's talking down to him.
She spurned him.
Oh yeah, like she don't give a shit, and you can tell like.
So you want to know more about that backstory? It's a teaser. A lot of this is a teaser.
I saw an interview with Whedon, and they were talking about, unfortunately, negatives of the situation. You know, he and the distribution company and the production company were disappointed in 2 different things. One, the request for it to be shorter. They said that accounted for a large percentage of the sluggish sales that it opened with. Secondly, even prior to this, Whedon and the production company and Warner Brothers and anybody involved pleaded with Gal Gadot not to do what she did regarding Brett Ratner, and she did it, and they're also saying that contributed to its sluggish.
To come out publicly and
they
not
said,
work
please
with them?
please don't, and now, you know, I don't know if they were doing that in expectation of it being sluggish, but now
they didn't need any other bad publicity.
No,
obviously they're.
But why would he mark against her though for calling out Brett Ratner?
No, it'd be a mark against the movie, and just that there's another thing out against it. You know?
Okay.
People don't. I don't think, especially superhero movie fans, they don't want that drama. They want the purity of it. They want the childhood memories. They want it to be this fantastic experience. They don't need the everyday, you know, who's screwing who and who's accusing this, you know, and that's why that's why they wrote.
Don't want movie just to be the movie itself.
Yeah, exactly. But the next thing that came out was Punisher, and another article that I read about this. I know you guys are going to love it, or maybe not. I don't know. But
I've seen the first episode.
Okay. My opinions of it, really, he's too short, but regardless of that, he's a great actor.
Have you seen Thomas Jane?
Yeah, I know, but he's actually bigger than this guy. He was great in Walking Dead, Walking Lame, but
first season only.
Like for you to tell him to his face, he's too short.
I'll be glad to, because I'm actually about 3 inches taller than he is. The Punisher has been in such disarray in all these times. Thomas Jane, terrible. Dolph Lundgren, fantastic, but it was I think it was a late
Before
80s
its time,
movie.
yeah.
Terrible. Ray Stevenson, the biggest of the Punishers.
Dude, he was the closest, though. He was the darkest.
He was fantastic. It was
That was an over-the-top comic book movie.
That was awesome.
It was a brutal film.
Brutal, yes.
That was the whole point.
But it was
like
it
the
was-
punch him in the
Max
freaking
comic books.
face.
yeah,
Like,
and it was the most. It was a disaster. It was a disaster as far as the box office.
it was
is
ahead of its
concerned.
time.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
people didn't appreciate
Right.
it. Okay.
And unfortunately, Mr. Frank Castle has come out again on Netflix, and it was delayed because of our Las Vegas situation, because Frank Castle's character is far too close to what is going on, especially what happened in Vegas. You know, he's a damaged individual with a stockpile of weapons, and just killing everybody. So they delayed it again. And then they put it out, and unfortunately, all the articles that I could find, with the exception of a couple, say wrong movie, wrong time. And I think that's why it's just not going to catch hold again. What do you guys think?
I really enjoyed his character on Daredevil, so I was looking forward to watching it. I can separate the two, so I have no issue with that in regards to him using weapons.
As a full-grown adult, I know to tell what's reality and what's not. I can separate the two issues, like Adam said. So, for me, it's a go. I've enjoyed the series so far. I'm on episode 5. The build-up's good. The storyline, it's getting there. The action sequence, of course, there's no questions behind it. Like, just the first episode alone, dude.
I like John Bernthal as the Punisher. I think he sells it more than any other actor so far.
The struggle?
Yeah, the struggle,
He pulls it off well.
the psychology of it, the daily life of him having to deal with his family's death.
The routine that he needs to feel even kind of normal.
Yeah.
Like I think the way his version and portrayal of Punisher is excellent. It's what we've been waiting for as a fan base, You've been waiting for something of this caliber. It's dark, but it's not too dark. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there are scenes where he does have a little shit of humanity left. Like you could see him open up more. Like for around episode 5, you see him actually open up a little more, which shocked the shit out of me. Like
there's got to be a motive behind it. He can't just be a crazy guy killing people.
Yeah, exactly. He actually opens up
or else he's not relatable.
His routine. Yeah, and like with him and Micro, they actually develop a relationship. By episode 4 into 5, you can see their relationship, where it's going, and there's actually bits and parts where you laugh at. You're like, oh shit, it's the Odd Couple all over again. The two assholes trying to be friends, but they hate each other so much.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll definitely get a further review
So you're saying,
once we finished it.
So you're saying you read articles of other critics being mean about this TV show?
No, they weren't being mean. I don't think they were being unnecessarily.
Because I remember there was a audience member that called me mean.
Yes.
For being the mean guy that reviews everything.
Sam is not
negative,
mean.
So.
If you want to know what Sam is like, watch Spider-Man: Homecoming, and minus about 5.5 feet. It's Spider-Man's little buddy.
Best friend.
That's right, best friend.
Was it Ned?
That's Sam.
Yeah, that is Sam. He's funny.
But no,
that kind of sucks though. All those people are already saying it's a bad TV show. Like, give it a shot, dude.
Well, they're not saying it's bad.
It's
they're
the
saying
controversy around it, timing.
Yeah. And for me, I'm not saying it's bad, and I can't because I haven't seen it. But I old Dolph, who's 62 years old.
You're gonna like him because he doesn't like anybody.
No, well, there you go. There you go.
He's relatable.
That's right. But
don't say that old Dolph is the best Punisher. Don't do it.
No,
Dolph's a good actor, bro.
I miss campy films like that. Showdown in Little Tokyo, Brandon Lee and those things.
That's why you watch Expendables.
Back to the 80s, bro.
That's why you enjoy all the Expendables.
That's
Time machine back to the 80s.
That's right.
No, you don't have to, because that's why you have Expendables, That's why you have the Fast and Furious franchise. That's why you have those G.I. Joe movies. That's why you have.
That's why we have Transformers.
That's why
we have 14 of all
movie.
those things. Can we not make something new?
You know, I'll bring the next subject in with an Expendables reference, and I was destroyed, and I couldn't believe it. I don't like what's going on today, and I'm sure John doesn't like it either. He's quite offended by it, as it regards all the accusations, the flood of accusations.
Oh my God, yeah, it's crazy.
Unfortunately, regarding the Expendables, Terry Crews, of all things, comes out talking about a party he went to, an agent that grabbed his nuts in front of his wife, and he felt emasculated. Oh my God, why would you feel emasculated? I mean, sorry, Terry, but you should have done something.
Feeling emasculated is being emasculated.
Is being emasculated. Do something about it. I mean, and if you're worried about your job, you were already Terry Crews. You were already in the Expendables. Stallone and the production company.
But it is a few years back, though.
No.
Wasn't
not many. A couple. I think it was just a couple of years.
He was still established.
He was still established. Yeah, and it wasn't his agent. And, but either way, it brings up something that I wanted John's opinion on first. Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. She went on a campaign, not having been involved with Brett Ratner. She said she and the director of Wonder Woman got together, and to the dismay of the production company and all the people involved, they said, Ratner's out or I'm out. What do you think?
I don't know. I haven't really followed this particular.
Well, Brett Ratner.
Well, you have to give him the full backstory about Brett Ratner.
There is no backstory.
There is. He's a scumbag.
I'm sure he is, but there has been nothing proved about most of these people. Now, I'm sure he's the dirtbag. I'm sure he's exactly the character that he played himself in Entourage.
Right.
Okay? But all of these, what has happened to our country where we're guilty before we're innocent? Okay? I'm sure he's a dirtbag. I would put money on it. But he's not a dirtbag officially yet.
Well,
he's only been accused.
He hasn't been proven a dirtbag.
There's no proof.
This is my opinion. All right, if he's got 6 people coming out against him, all right, none of it's proven. But if even one of those is in fact true, he's a dirtbag.
Okay, but we don't know they're true yet. Neither did Gal Gadot.
At that point, I hate to say this, but it doesn't matter. All right, if even one of those is slightly true, you're a dirtbag.
But it does matter. You're establishing guilt before innocence.
I look at it. Let's take the one that
one
already
of his
has
victims
kind of
was
out.
Olivia Munn, so I'm just waiting for her to come out.
Okay,
she did.
Him.
She did.
Well,
I'm sure he did. Then
coming out and saying Sam did this, Adam did this, John did this, is not. Here is a picture. Now, unfortunately, a person that I think is getting a raw deal, but unfortunately, one of the people that has been come out upon is Al Franken, and
he actually put himself out.
Giant picture
of Lean tweeting,
and he got it.
And I saw that picture, and I thought, oh, he's not groping he's got his hands kind of like.
I can't really tell if he's actually touching her, but either way.
No, he's not grabbing.
He's turned around at the camera and smiling.
Yes, he is.
It's a bad joke.
It was a bad joke.
And he said as much.
But what he said was thinking back on it, right? So, and the one that got me was the Kevin Spacey.
Yes.
Because here's somebody saying 30 years ago, I was at a party, and okay, first of all, you're at a party. Wild things go on at parties. That's what happens. Now, I don't care if you're underage or not. What were you doing at the party? Doesn't matter. Hey, it was 30 years ago. I remember 30 years ago, and I can tell you there were times that I got hammered myself, and I don't remember what happened after that. So even Kevin Spacey said, I don't remember what happened. Hey, if I grabbed you, if I touched you, hey, man, I'm sorry. Should be the end of story. They basically tried to wipe this guy off the planet. Like, we're going to reshoot scenes from a movie you were going to be in. Why? Is this their moral outrage over something that happened in a completely different time? Or is it that, again, it's a money grab? They're afraid that people aren't going to go. They're afraid of the reaction, so we better hedge our bets.
I just think that now the Gadot thing has a significant story element. The fact that she had nothing to do with Ratner, except being in the film, but she had no communication, no contact.
Let me
with
throw
Ratner.
this at you.
Yes,
she is Wonder Woman, the female embodiment of empower,
rights,
the female movement. All right. Yeah. Now, how could she possibly be in a movie where she's which is connected to a dirtbag who's
okay? Again, There's no proof of it yet.
Again.
And
Adam, calm down. You're turning red. You're turning deep breath. Deep breath, bro. Deep breath.
But to leverage this
Woosah.
celebrity power, to leverage her celebrity power to
Are you trying to say she's a bully?
alter people's no, what I'm trying to say is she risked an entire production, people's paychecks, people's families, based on what she feels is right. Because she's Wonder Woman. Well, guess what? She's not that good an actor. Good looks are a dime a dozen, and she is in this film because
So you're saying
of
they
Brett
can
Ratner.
recast her?
I think she. That's why my notation is here. Does she still deserve to be Wonder Woman? I don't know.
Yeah, for me, yes. I'm fine with it.
You know.
I'm fine with her standing up for women. You know.
To me, somebody's got to call these guys out. All right.
You know, the whole casting couch, isn't this just basically, I mean, we all knew about it. I mean, it's been going on from the 40s or 50s anyway, at least in Hollywood. So, I mean.
But does that make it better?
No, it doesn't make it better.
Do we know that this stuff happens in Hollywood? Does that make it okay that he does it?
No.
I mean, it
but
doesn't.
I think what happens is that people
See something,
thought
say something,
it went
bro.
away.
See something, say something.
You know, I think they thought it went away. But
the problem is you're
nevertheless,
saying it 30 years later.
Yeah.
You're saying it 30
You
years
gotta
later.
say it when
That's
it's
the
fresh.
Yeah.
We say it 30 years later, it's a little harder to prove.
Well, not only that, but because also memory is malleable. We all know that, especially if you're at a party, thinking back. Now, somebody could be very honest and think, hey, this is what I remember happening. And the way memories are distributed in your brain is that over time it will change. You know, you may believe that.
It does change over time.
I'm not trying to embellish it or whatever. This is what I remember. It may not be right. Now, if Kevin Spacey had actually raped this kid, then obviously there was a crime committed. Ironically, the statute of limitations would be up. You couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
But apparently that's not what he did, right? I mean,
No.
he doesn't remember anything. Come on, he was a drunk.
Yeah.
And
Well-
I'm not excusing him for it, but to basically, as you said, just take an accusation, which he said, hey, I don't remember it. Hey, if I did it, I'm sorry. And say all of a sudden, you know, hey, we're going to crucify you anyway, based on somebody's accusation.
Well, I thought what didn't also work in his favor was for him to choose to come out at the moment he was being accused. Like, that didn't help him at all.
No, that didn't help either.
That was a really bad PR
Well,
move.
and
for
now
the
let's
guy.
bring.
He's trying to spin it.
Now let's bring it back to our town, Vegas.
Okay.
Mr. Stallone, who has emphatically denied this, and good for him, because in I believe it was 98, he was shooting Over the Top, a classic film, classically bad, but it's classic film. He and his security guard, his bodyguard. Now this is the kink to the story that really, really irritates me. A hotel employee now has brought up this situation regarding this.
Oh yeah, I saw that
regarding
article.
this 16-year-old girl that claimed and turned in a police report that she was assaulted by he and his security guard. Well, that is not the case. She did claim this. The police investigated it. There was nothing to prove anything.
She
The
didn't
security
press charges.
Yeah, the security guard is now, unfortunately, he has passed away. And good for Mr. Stallone. He got right in front of us and said, "No, this is ridiculous." And see, that's the problem. Now, I'm going to do something really controversial. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but Adam has personal situation where it is a non-celebrity. There is an accusation and something going on.
Sure.
And not with him personally, with someone he knows.
Theoretical?
No, with someone he knows.
No, we're just
Now,
not mentioning on air.
What if this? Okay. What if out of 10 individuals that have come forward after decades, how many people we don't know how many people are truly off, or they're I mean.
No, I agree. There could be people that are using it to get their 15 minutes,
So,
or using it to get somebody's
wanna
money or
victimize
power.
themselves.
All I'm saying,
I'm not saying there aren't those people too, but
all I'm saying
if
is
as a
that-
man you put yourself in that situation to get accused of it,
Yeah.
you're already in the wrong, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
And see, I think if you
Right?
go,
You're better safe than sorry, dude.
if you go further back, and this is really controversial for me to say, but if you go further back, I think Mike Tyson got screwed. I think he did jail time because the chick didn't get a limo home. You're going to go to Mike Tyson's room after drinking and taking drugs, and what do you think is going to happen?
Right.
Now, should it have happened? Well, no, but I don't know. See, I need proof. I need proof first. Is Brett Ratner a dirtbag? I absolutely think he's a dirtbag. Is Kevin Spacey a possible
Well, the problem is you can't
molester?
you can't
Yeah.
prove all these allegations that are 30 years old. That's the problem.
Then you're going to use the court of public opinion and ruin people's lives. Spacey, he probably needs to be ruined. Ratner probably needs to be ruined. But how about the tens of 20 the people that are being accused?
I get you.
We don't have the proof, and that's why I think what Gal Gadot did was unconscionable. She risked an entire production company
for her morals.
Why is she imposing those morals on me?
She didn't impose them on you.
She believed in that. Like, how could she be part of a movie
production company
that was against her morality?
But that's not her business. She needs to stay out of it.
So it's not her business to take a stand for her own rights?
Those aren't her rights.
No, for her morals.
For her morals?
Well, yeah, okay, take a stand and say, I think Brett Ratner is a dirtbag.
All right, well,
that's
what
your
about,
stand.
What about if she approached it from a different angle? What about if she just removed herself from the project then? Wouldn't that just be easier?
I think that would be a larger statement. I cannot be Wonder Woman if
not Wonder Woman, but
I can't be part of this production. That's fine, and then leave. Not call for somebody else's removal. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Because if she left it and made a giant statement, said, I can't be Wonder Woman anymore, I'm leaving, then all the people's jobs are still going to be fine, because then they can call, hopefully, Linda Carter, and then they can go ahead with the movie. But no, I think what she did was unconscionable, and it was selfish. It was absolutely selfish.
I don't know about that. I think I'm on
I'll
the
see what
other
the
side.
audience says about this.
Yeah, there'll be some good debate on that one.
Well,
It'll be a good debate.
Getting away from the particulars of it,
Yes.
there's a couple of things that bother me. Anytime you take a behavior that happened a long time ago, not only is memory, but when you take something that, one of the common things I'll tell people about it, hey, it was the 70s, is that there were certain behaviors that were acceptable or that were hey, we just put up with it, that today we don't. Well, that's fine, but you can't go back, but blame him for his behavior today, not for what happened 30 years ago. I could go ahead and say, my parents, they abused me. They never made me wear a seatbelt. Things like that. They didn't care. My dad had a pickup truck. I rode in the back of it. Well, that was acceptable back in the 60s and 70s. Nobody wore a seatbelt. Yeah. But today, of course, you wouldn't think about putting your kid in the car without putting on the seatbelt.
Well, I originally, this is a Nerd Alert Gear Grinder combo. now,
roll it up into one.
You made mention earlier, and we mentioned Al Franken, who I honestly think should not be removed from any of his congressional duties, and I honestly think he would be an interesting presidential candidate, regardless. Leanne Tweeter has a problem with this, and she went on The View, and the lowest rung on the journalistic ladder, and of course, and Meghan McCain, how she wait,
why are you watching The View?
Because it was on YouTube, and I wanted to see this.
Okay, good save, Jamey.
Yeah,
I see you.
But you made a comment regarding Al Franken, said it was a bad joke.
It was a bad joke,
and
very bad joke.
We've all been in fraternity situations, and I use that term loosely, just a group of guys being guys, taking a Sharpie and drawing a mustache on the guy that just fell asleep at the party. Is it just a bad joke? Where's the difference between the Gal Gadot situation and Al Franken situation? Because I don't know. I'm just assuming. You seem to. There was a level difference.
Spectrum. There's a spectrum, yeah. Two different spectrums.
Did you mean that it needs to be treated as a bad joke and move on?
I would categorize the two as different. Al Franken, he's got a picture of him, he's turning to the camera, he's smiling, he's obviously, playing a joke.
But it didn't work out.
But it's the proof that I need.
I
don't need to wonder if he actually did it.
Okay, you got a point there. There was a picture of him, so that is proof. You don't have proof of Ratner being a dickhead.
But also,
you don't have proof.
With his situation, he came in front of it. He admitted that he fucked up.
He said exactly what Adam said. It was meant as a joke. It was a bad joke. I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Right.
And I want to move on.
Whereas Ratner, he's had multiple people come out against him and accuse him of some pretty serious things.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can prove those at this point. But in the court of public opinion, that's pretty damning.
It is, but isn't that unfair?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the world we live in.
And they keep saying
the world is not fair.
How can they account for
no
this?
Trophy for you?
How do you keep him? That's a good call, but you just don't work with the guy anymore.
The other one was Louis C.K. And what bothered me the most about
that really bummed me out.
Because he said that, I thought, okay, well, he's just being an asshole. And I wondered now. He goes, he mentioned to a woman, hey, can I take my pecker out? And she said no. So I said, well, did he take it out anyway? I went, no. But what bothers me is the hypocrisy, because he comes out against, talking against sexism, and then he went ahead and did it himself.
And he commits it.
And he commits it himself.
That's why I was really confused.
That's what is that hypocrisy.
When I found out it was Louis C.K., I was like, am I reading this right?
Yeah, I understand.
Hang on, let me go read article
Roy
number 5.
Moore.
And I'm like, it is Louis C.K. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, his situation confused me too, because I'm a different type of person, and I'm a man, so it's a little bit different. Although he did it to men too, apparently. But
wait, what?
But
I didn't know that part.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
He
weird guy, I guess.
He apparently, with your job in jeopardy, said, "Watch me do this." Or see me do this, and I don't know. I snickered at first. I thought to myself, God, if my boss, which he was or is, came up and said, "Hey, I'm gonna have a wank here, and you sit here and watch me." Oh yeah, send me a picture. I got a job to do. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, you see, these guys have power.
I guess
these
so.
These guys have stations.
But I mean,
they have
did
money.
he have that much power to make a person stand
Sure, it was his show.
But I don't know.
They're desperate people out there that don't have the connections to get into another show.
Now I'll give you that. I'm on the opposite side of the aisle with Gadot, but I'll give you that. But I understand being in fear for your job and having not a pot to piss in, but. I was like, man, are any of us standing around there watching?
We're just taking it. We're just taking it as a society. We're just taking it.
I know.
How the hell do we segue Star Wars Battlefront 2 now? It's the worst segue ever.
That's right. Well, I'll do it. I'll do it. Well, thank you everybody for talking to me about this. I know the panel wasn't quite expecting that, but you guys are fantastic. And
it's a debate. It's a good debate.
That's right.
It's a good awareness. It allows other listeners to actually hear what's going on and open up their eyes and actually get them to think and form opinions about the situation itself.
Give us some comments.
Yeah, and not everyone's a victim. I mean, I think that's the other thing of like poor me.
Just remember, punch him in the dick. Just punch him in the dick.
Or grab him in the pussy.
That's right. Exactly. But no, it's fantastic, and I to be part of the social conscience is nice, because we talk about nerd stuff. We talk about Vegas, which is it's either surface level, as it regards planetary commentation.
But folks should remember
commentating
that we are talking about Vegas because we are from Vegas.
Yeah, we are from Vegas.
We're actually here.
Yeah.
We do live underground in casinos with lizard people.
That's right.
But we actually care about what's going on.
Sneak up out every once in a while.
That's right. But we do. We actually care, and I love having conversations like this. This time, whoever's out there in the verse, you can say I was being negative. Adam wasn't. So who's ever out there saying negative, that's me.
And Sam's being mean.
Just this week, though. We'll flip flop next week.
And Sam's mean.
Sam's just behind the camera, so he's just always in a bad mood.
Sam's mean. Well, Sam has a special report.
Gear grinders, video games.
This is also a nerd alert gear grinders combination, right?
If you want to hear about negative,
here
it comes. Yeah.
So this week I got to spend $80. The early 3-day access for
special edition
strip club.
Star
Johnny
Wars.
spent $80 at the strip club.
That
I
goes
wish.
fast.
I was.
It would have been well spent.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I
Were
would
you
have been
titillated? That's what I wanted.
I would have been better off at a strip club at their lunch special, free crabs. The buffet.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I spent my money on Star Wars Battlefront 2. Worst purchase ever so far. The storyline was kind of forced upon. You can already tell where it's going. The twists and turns don't really
lazy writing, right?
Yes.
Not good.
And where do I start at? I'm trying to start the good part or the bad parts?
Start with EA's note. That's probably a good start.
So if you guys don't know yet, you can look online. EA posted a note saying that they apologize for the in-game purchases and the crystals, and that they're going to suspend the crystal for now for a later date and time, and the in-game purchase. So basically what happened was, when you buy this game, you and your friends can supposedly play online together. Everything's going to be fun and copacetic.
I hate that.
The friends part or playing online?
Online.
The online part.
That's not a saleable item to me.
I want to hear about these crystals. Do you smoke them? Do you?
Now you don't do anything with them.
You create a trail mix with them, sir.
Do you rub them together and pray for a better storyline, or what do you do?
You put them together to make a lightsaber. Mm-hmm. No, these crystals are supposed to power up your characters, and it's a rare drop, supposedly. You're supposed to... Basically, the game was, I thought, where everyone starts on the same playing field. You know, we're all on the same level, and we get play and earn and boost up your character. You know, on your own merits
through playing the game.
Yeah,
right.
But no, this time you actually just buy everything.
This is a pay to play platform. If you haven't heard of this,
Now let me interrupt. John has a young boy.
Yes.
Who's mesmerized by video games, I'm sure.
Not too much, but he does play some of them.
Has he asked you, or does he have a vehicle by which he can purchase in-game stuff?
Yeah.
You, John, hard worker that you are, have already purchased an $80 game like Sam did. And now they're saying to make the game better or to make it good at all,
right,
you need to purchase crystals
actual money
and machine guns and all kind of stuff more. So now you're up to $125.
At the very minimum.
See, he wouldn't go for that because he would look at it and say those capitalist pigs. They're just trying to exploit this. Fuck you! I don't want to play.
Absolutely, all DLCs are that way.
That's
in my opinion.
Right now.
Yeah,
I'm pretty salty, to be fair. Because me and friends were
playing.
Is
mean, right?
Yeah, I'm being mean. Because we were playing on the first day, and people were already level 15 and 20. We're like, what the fuck's going on? This game's only been out for like 2-3 hours. And then realized there's a purchasing system. Because when I played, like, you go to a menu screen, and there's daily items that are given to you, right? You collect those items, but then underneath the menu screen itself, you can purchase with your points that you've earned through the game, which is great. Or you can purchase with real money. And I'm like, oh, great. So
people just going to throw $100 at this random, loot generator.
They'll keep buying until they get what they needed. And you get
until they're so far ahead of you, you're behind the power curve on day one, 2 hours into the game.
And then the worst part was the fact that if you get duplicates, it's even better because you break it down to create a new item.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, cool. So basically, it's a crafting game where you can spend more money for it.
Yeah.
And here's the dumbest part. You paid the extra $30 to play 3 days earlier just to get screwed. So if I'm already screwed, the guy that just bought the game on its actual release date of Friday
super screwed.
Is super fucked.
Yeah.
Like he's super fucked.
You might as well not even buy it now. Yeah.
No drinks, just raw dogging it. Just getting raw dog.
Good luck getting in multiplayer when everybody ahead of you is already, 10 times your level.
Well, let me ask you this. Right now, as we speak, how much to have everything in this game? You've spent $80. How much more to be?
Oh, you'd be in.
I have no idea.
You'd be in $1 million. It's a random.
Status.
It's a random generator. So what you do is you buy these.
I have no idea because I'm not going to give it any more money. Like I am done.
No, it could be infinite. So
so
the problem is that people are linking this buying in-app purchases to a form of child gambling. So if your kid is on this and they want to buy this pack,
it's random.
$3, $3, until they're blue in the face and you've paid.
It's really ridiculous. Like, I wish that the audience and the fans would let EA know, like, they shouldn't do this to all their gamer fans. Like, because for me, I don't buy games all the time, and when I do, I have buyer's remorse now. Like, this was my worst purchase so far. I like the content itself where I can play a Stormtrooper or a Jedi with my friends, because that's the fun part that I'm looking forward to. But even then, when they match me up, it's a fucking horrendous nightmare.
It's a shell of a game based on in-app purchases.
So
with a pretty face on it.
Maybe they're hoping that the psychology is you already spent $80, and it sucks. But hey, if I only spend $10 more, it might be pretty good. I've already added this much money. This is what they're thinking, right? Now I know with my kid, and I know that this would be horrifying to these companies, because we've got a PlayStation that gathers dust, and he plays it now and then, but it's usually college football. He likes that college football game, and it's the same one he's had it was like 2012 or something.
Yeah.
And he said, this one's good enough. I know how to play it.
Yeah,
he said the new ones are just a money grab.
Same thing.
Exactly.
He hasn't bought into that yearly recycled game.
That's why I don't do the NFL or I don't do the Maddens. I don't do the Call of Duty games, because all it is, it's just a
reskinning.
Yeah, it's just reskinning and just updating the
rosters.
Yeah, that's all this.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, the horrendous part was the servers. The servers kept crashing in its early access. I was playing online with one of my buddies, right? It's just one more person. I tried to hop into his game. I'm already on a waiting list. That's fine. When we finally get into a game together, our first game we were able to play together, it took us 5 minutes to even see each other on the same plane.
Yeah.
Because we're supposedly on the same level, but it took us 5 minutes to even find each other.
Well, I can improve that. It's just pennies a day.
Right. Well, see now, John, I think your boy is. is an exception.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you know, his I think his socio-political views, you know, actually leak into his game playing. And secondly, no one likes college football, so I don't know. I would
or
why
pro
he's had
football. He's got that one too.
Yeah.
Same thing. Baseball. He's got the sports games.
Well,
So-
I was saying like with,
so
with
where
the-
did you stop your spending?
No, I already stopped it. Like already.
I know, but you
Well-
were in 80. Did you spend any more?
Well,
No,
this
no,
is
no,
when
no.
Oh, you
EA
didn't.
came out and they said they have canceled all in-app purchases.
Oh, they
so they
canceled.
backpedaled.
Oh,
and they
they
said,
backpedaled.
"Oh, you guys are pissed off. Let's take this out." But what they also said is we're going to install it again in the future. So
okay, but not only did they take away the cost, they took away the items, or
you can still, I
quality,
believe you can
right?
still get
No,
the
no.
items through
The thing is,
gameplay.
I don't know
But you
if they're
can't
going to
buy it.
revert the people that already purchased all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it.
True, if you've already bought $100 worth of these items, you know
They're
they're
not
not
gonna
going to
take it
take them
back.
away. So you're
Okay.
still behind the curve.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
still behind the curve. But I'm saying like also the mechanics of the game, it was horrible because it took us 5 minutes to find each other on the battlefield finally.
Okay.
And we were able to play together for a little bit. And once our game did, we got onto the next game, right? And during the next matchmaking, he got disconnected from the EA server. So I played my game without him. We were finally able to meet back up again. Next, you know, I got disconnected. So it took us like 4 tries to finally even play together. And when we finally played together, it took us forever to find each other on the freaking map. It
So
was
the
just
total
it was
total
horrendous.
mishap.
Yeah, like I don't think EA is really putting a lot of effort. They're just rushing out the title because they know it's a name brand.
Sure.
Because I was suckered into the
Yeah,
Star
you'll
Wars
buy it
name
because it
brand.
says Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
when
and-
you realize it's a
and-
bad game, you're already in $80.
Well, and The Last Jedi comes out on the 17th, so I mean, yeah, they're pushing everything.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
sure.
But I was really bummed out. I was really bummed out that because I remember playing the first one and I was like, oh man, I got fucked over. But it's okay because there's 6 of us. We're all playing together. That's
Yeah.
cool. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But now I'm playing this one and I'm like, man, the server's horrible because I'm holding these games to a higher pedestal.
Yeah.
And it's a nightmare knowing that the servers were
EA should
crashing.
know better.
Yeah, EA
this point.
EA has technology. They can do it. They know better. But they're nickel and diming the fans, and it's not cool. Like I think both parties are guilty. They're guilty because they're doing it, and we're guilty because people
'Cause
are
we're buying into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they shouldn't.
That's why I don't. That's why I don't buy any DLCs anymore. I just refuse.
I think you need to come out, Sam, and let everybody know that you've been a victim.
That's right.
That EA tried to fuck you in the
Yeah.
same way that Kevin Spacey tried to,
That's
tried
right.
to fuck a 14-year-old boy.
EA has literally raped me, and
right.
so I need my.
They made you watch guys with big lightsabers.
That's right.
Yeah.
You need to
It-
sit
it
in one
was
of
a
those
nightmare
hemorrhoids
game.
cushions. on
Nightmare, huh?
And the storyline
I feel
was
bad, man.
The storyline was too easy to predict. Like it wasn't compelling as I thought it was gonna be, dude. I was so bummed out. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was one of the big
Oh, man.
things about this game was they were going to put in a single player campaign, so you didn't have to
they,
play
they,
with.
they didn't lie.
online,
they didn't lie.
right?
They
They
put in
did,
the campaign,
but
it's
it's not
fucking
good, huh?
half-assed.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
so I'm
fucking
gonna
half-assed.
roll it back. Give me a B, C, or D or F on Justice League.
Oh, for Justice League movie?
Yeah,
Oh,
We
it's-
gotta give it a
it's
rating.
It's awesome.
A.
Yeah. Oh, A.
A.
I
All
loved
right.
it.
For awesome.
Yeah.
And give me it on Punisher on the first couple episodes.
B plus so far
B
for me.
plus.
Okay. I've only seen one. It
Okay.
was decent, so I'll give it a B plus. I really
B
like the
plus.
character, so I'm
Okay.
still.
Battlefront gets an F
Battlefront.
for go fuck itself.
There you
Really?
go.
Battle gets an F.
Just
Wow.
absolutely terrible, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
I'm salty right now. Maybe
so-
maybe feel better next week.
So
I don't know
I'm
yet.
glad that I didn't buy it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you save your money.
yeah,
Wow.
Wait till it's on a $20 bin.
then it might be worth it.
Now, as we talk about all these releases, I'm going to talk about a release that is probably most important to John and me and should be the most important thing in the room. November 28th, the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show.
Yes.
There you go.
You know, let's
I know Jamie tapes this every year.
Let's be tape. Wow.
Records, whatever.
He has his VCR ready.
That's right.
He pops in the tape.
That's right. Jeremy. Somebody mentioned Jeremy Irons earlier. Jeremy
Yeah.
Irons was on I think Colbert, and he said he didn't know how to put a Blu-ray into his VCR.
I love him
that.
even more now.
I
love
want
him
I
even
want to
more.
get there. I want
Yeah.
to be that
Yes.
old, John.
That old.
Speaking of that, Jeremy Irons
Yes.
was the sassiest Alfred ever. Our friend Eddie calls him Dadfred. The
Yeah.
word dad and Alfred combined because he was
got the
such
dad
a
jokes.
dad
Yeah,
in
he
the
was
whole
funny.
movie.
He said in the interview that he didn't want Alfred to be the stuffy guy with the serving tray.
Right.
And he said he recently
no, this
went.
one was not at all.
He went to a party sponsored by J. Paul Getty, the young J. Paul, the one still alive, and he had to go through in his story. It sounded like 8 different doors, all being manned by a butler. What nobody knows is all these butlers are ex-SAS. And so that's what he modeled his Alfred
Character out of.
Yeah, an ex-SAS guy.
Well, I was telling, I think, Sam this earlier, the portrayal of Alfred in Gotham as kind of that ex-agent is kind of how I feel he would progress into Jeremy Irons' character.
This Alfred,
Yeah, because he's very mechanical. He's hands-on. He flies the bat planes. He's more of an assistant than he is a butler.
And the best part is he can multitask. He's doing all this while drinking.
And making fun of Bruce.
Yeah, he's boss. He's boss.
Okay, and here's a question that you guys weren't expecting. And John, I want your opinion too.
Right.
Oh no, can cut off guard again?
No, I'm not going to be mean. Adam wasn't ready, and he did well. He did very well. There's no, in my opinion, there's no way Affleck is making it as Batman. There's no way he's going to make a multiple film thing.
He should though.
No, he shouldn't. He's too old. He personally is too old. Who's the next Batman?
Jake Gyllenhaal, apparently. You ever heard this?
No, I want your opinion. Is it Jake?
The meeting with Matt Reeves.
Is it really?
Yeah, they've Matt Reeves' new trilogy or new Batman movie.
They had a meeting.
Yes, they had a meeting, and he has Jake Gyllenhaal earmarked for his role.
Do you
as
agree?
Batman.
Because he's
I don't
pushing
know.
too old almost.
Well, they did mention that they didn't want Ben Affleck because he's too old.
Yes.
So they wanted somebody, and I think Gyllenhaal's like 10 years his junior.
Yeah.
So they could make multiple films with him, like they did with Christian Bale.
At least one more movie.
I don't know if he sells me yet. Neither did Ben Affleck, and I really like Ben Affleck. So
because old Ben's been accused as well.
Has he?
Yeah.
Everybody's been groped once or twice,
John,
I guess, in Hollywood.
Well,
who should be Batman?
There's only one person I can think of that would be Batman. I remember the comic book was written originally in 1939.
Yes.
Kirk Douglas. He's 100 years old.
Yes.
He'd be the only one alive that would fit that, that could do it.
That's right.
That would go back to 1939.
And he's already got the voice.
He's got the voice, and he's got the chin for it.
Okay.
I go with Kirk Douglas.
Sam. Gyllenhaal's a maybe. Affleck is out, and they call up Sam. Warner Brothers calls you up and said, Sam, who is it?
Off the top of my head,
that's a tough one, right?
Man,
maybe it could be you, Sam. You could be the Asian Batman. What do you think?
That's right.
We need that.
That's too much diversity. I'm too tall. I'm too tall for Asian.
Way too tall.
They won't understand it.
And he only has one diverse thing. He's Asian. That's it. He didn't bring to the table as much as all the other people.
Put an eye patch on you. That way
he's got kidney failure. That counts, right?
That's diversity.
Write it in.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for putting that out there.
Sorry, buddy.
What a dick. At least I'm not a Cowboys fan, so it's all right. I'll survive. But as for a new Batman, I'm fine with Ben Affleck right now. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Ben.
I'm happy with Ben Affleck as Batman. He's good. Like he has that presence that Batman could pull off. Like he does it really well.
Yeah.
Where, he's been here for a long time. Like the storyline wise, he's been in Gotham for so long.
Yeah, he plays the old grizzled Batman very
he's
well.
Good, he's a good grizzled Batman. Yeah. So I'm happy with Ben for sure. I want to at least see him for at least.
The problem is Ben's already said I want my exit as Batman to be this cool event.
Well, he's saying
and
what they future.
Say,
but they're taking out of context.
This is what they say though about retirement. If you're thinking about retirement, you've
already
retired. So
and the production studio's already retiring.
So that's what I'm thinking. They're already in talks to bring in Gyllenhaal because he's already checked out.
He also might be fed up with the whole situation because he did write a whole script for Arkham, and then they scrapped that, and they had Matt Reeves write a whole new script.
Sure.
So I'm sure he's kind of salty about that too. But I do eventually want to see at least this version of Batman, which is Ben Affleck, take on Deathstroke.
Absolutely.
Because those two, I want to see them fight each other.
Yeah.
By the way, we didn't mention that, but the
did.
last post-credit scene is fucking Deathstroke, and it's fucking
pretty
amazing.
awesome. It is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It would be.
It was so classy too, the way he pulls up, because you see a guy laughing in the cell, right? You're like, oh man, that's Lex. Nope.
They bring in Lex Luthor for one part of the end credit scene.
Yeah.
So he's not cut out of the entire movie.
And that's Jesse Eisenberg?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyway, stay for the end credit scenes.
Stay for the end credit scenes. Okay. Well, John and I will be asleep by then, so.
Yeah, it's only 2 hours, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, thanks, guys. That was clearly Nerd Grinders is becoming a thing. Nice. The Concierge Chronicle is next. Secret hotel rooms in Las Vegas. I have had the pleasure with John, with Adam, and by myself working as a commercial photographer and a concierge over the last 5 15 years to see some amazing rooms that most people don't ever get to see. And the reason you want to see them is because they are a VIP experience. They're invited guest only.
Sure.
They cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah, and really only the people we've talked about on the show today, they actually
Exactly. So Ben Affleck, I'm sure, has been here. Actually, I'm trying to think of any person we've talked about have been in these rooms.
Well, yeah, I was when you talk about the ones at the villas,
yes,
at the Mirage.
Yes.
The first time I was on the podcast, I told the story about the legendary country western singer who was not. Yeah.
I'll say it.
Yeah, that guy.
Use that. Yes, that guy with the chicken franchises.
Yeah.
Who and the dildo.
And the dildo.
And the dildo and the vibrating glove. Anyhow, that took place there. In one of those.
I don't know. Sounds like a gamble, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
That's
gamble.
right.
Hey, I think that was the name of that dildo on the sword handle. We called it the Gambler.
Yeah. my buddy in Indiana, Jeff, they always call it the fist. But the villas at the Mirage, they are spectacular. There's actually quite a few of them. There are two ways to enter them. There is a private car valet entrance that goes through this lovely garden and comes into a turnaround area. It is truly a VIP experience. It's amazing to go in there. There's also a secret door, which is not too secret. If you've been to Las Vegas, there is the Terry Fader Theater. Adam and I have spent way too much time in this particular
in and
area.
around there.
Yeah, and right next to the little cafe there is a door with a doorbell. You ring the doorbell, and only if you qualify to go in, which fortunately we did, you go in, and there's the other end of the villas. These are amazing places. They have gyms, they have saunas, they have hot tubs. Anytime like you see something amazing like The Hangover, it's something like the villas that are in there. And if you hear any pool tables, if you hear any description of them, they're most likely they're true, and they're appointed with a beautiful decor, and they are provided butlers and maids and specialized services. And
damn, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Now, do they have a sign in the back, like a silhouette of a person with a fanny pack with a circle and a cross through it?
They should.
They should.
They do not, but they should. And at that
clearly don't have enough money in that fanny pack.
You know what's really strange is fanny packs became very popular with the high-end Asian gamblers. Yeah,
really?
that and the European high-end gamblers with the man purse.
Sure.
Strangely enough.
Don't do that. Don't just say all Asians carry fanny packs.
No.
No. It's like me saying all white people love baked chicken only.
I said the high-end gamblers, and yes, it's just the Thai and Chinese gamblers, right?
Oh, okay.
What do they keep in there?
Yeah,
they keep all the coupons to tropical smoothies and all the issues of Lost, just for Jamey, just in case Jamey wants to watch Lost.
The Lost issues of Lost.
That's right. But another one, which John and I had intimate knowledge of, or I did at one point, because all of you left me, bastards. The Pizza Club at the Venetian and the Palazzo. There's actually two separate ones, generally speaking. This is an invitation only or by membership. And it not only has rooms, but it has private gambling areas where the high-end baccarat, high-end blackjack, $200,000 a hand, that kind of thing.
Try sitting there for 8 hours.
I know.
Worst shift ever.
I would. That's true. That's true.
I would be standing there alone because I would take all their money.
Yeah,
dude,
they'd love me.
Out. They would kick you out for taking their money. Like seriously, those.
No, the casino would love me. Please.
Oh no, the casinos would love you, but the gamblers, they'd be like,
new dealer.
Yeah. Right. But there's also there's one at the Nobu Hotel, which is at Caesar's Palace, the David Rockwell Villa at the very top, and they have things. They have private Zen gardens, they have saunas, they have media rooms, and you can actually arrange one of the Nobu sushi chefs to come and cook for you specifically, which is kind of a big deal if you're a foodie.
Oh yeah,
that'd be sweet.
Yeah, not Nobu himself, although he comes here all the time. But these are amazing places. They are as opulent as they are described in all of the literature and definitely in the movies. A lot of times the movies they reconstruct them in Hollywood and in the sound studios, but many times they shoot here. In fact, I was The Hangover 2. I believe I was there during the shooting. I was actually shooting something else, and they were there. But they are truly fantastic places. I heard though.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Oh, Robin Leach, he's still around.
What is it about that guy?
He's still here. He's still here.
Yeah, he's still here. He's still at all the big events.
Oh, and
It's
you know
because
what?
something in Vegas is always worth looking at.
And he
just
writes
like those
articles,
villas.
and I believe I heard recently he has a podcast, which makes me.
Oh, are we gonna invite him?
No, we're not.
Yeah, let's have him on there. Talk about The Walking Dead, right?
Oh, well played.
But I had heard that the villas and several other of the VIP locations, the mansions at the MGM, which we've talked about before, that they're equally spectacular. They actually are, because Las Vegas is changing a bit. They are bringing prices down to where sort of normal individuals could pay for the rooms, but you're still looking at $2,500 a night.
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
That ain't me.
Yeah,
that ain't anybody in this room.
Yeah,
That's like all of us pitching in for just one room.
Yeah,
That's
like
right.
8 of us.
We have to save for a month for that.
But the Venetian, welcomed. It's oh my gosh, we've had so many. We had so many celebrities that used different levels of the villas over there, especially
And all
on the
their different names.
Yeah, all their different
their
names.
The faux names.
That's
Yeah.
right. And for some reason, the stars always chose Disney characters. I was always Snow White and just
Super obvious ones. You're
Yeah.
like, come on, man.
Yeah, you read some of these, you're like,
Yeah.
You're like, obviously it's a pseudonym.
Yeah.
Now I got to figure out who it is.
But someone actually mentioned to me, they said, "Oh, that's not true. That that you can't lock a room and say that you can't release information. That's not true at all. We absolutely could lock a room down, put a DND on it, and we were not able to speak about it. Absolutely
Yeah, in
not.
fact, any guest can go NRG, right? Non-registered
NRG,
guest.
yeah, exactly.
And you basically it doesn't show up in the system.
Yeah.
To us.
with enough money or enough star power,
Yeah.
things can just disappear.
Oh,
Remember,
yeah.
I mean, even when I was there, in 2000, MC Hammer, who was already, he was washed up. He came out like 19.
Shit, he was washed up by the 90s.
And he was washed up a year later. But he was there. I'm going to be NRG. Who gives a shit about you?
Yeah.
That's going to be looking, I wonder if MC Hammer's staying at the hotel. Well, it's not going to be seen under that name anyway, right?
Oh, no, that person, the person that was arguing with me, they were emphatic. Oh, my God. Worse than Adam was a minute ago. they were emphatic that you couldn't do that. And I was like, no, you absolutely can do NRG. Now, like I said in my article, things, they are a-changing. NRGs are, they're looked at far closer now because of the shooting here in Las Vegas. Yeah. You can't be a ghost and come into the hotel. You have to have a reason as to why you want anonymity. But no, that's absolutely true. But if you see these suites on movies and you read about them, most likely it's true. They are truly amazing things to see. And the villas, going back to the villas, the Mirage, they even have outdoor areas where you have mini pools. And they have one that has a strange Hawaiian barbecue thing. It was the weirdest thing I ever saw.
And then the spas, too. The
And then
spas are freaking nice.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing they do get right. Unlike, when you watch TV shows and they're like, oh, they're in Vegas in this episode, and you're watching, you're like, that's not it. But most of the time, they get the spa part down pretty right.
Absolutely.
The luxury part.
Totally. Yeah. And we had Canyon Ranch.
Yeah.
They were a little too exclusive. They were rude. They were very rude to guests because it wasn't our guests, our common guests, with or without fanny pack, would go to Canyon Ranch, and they were quite rude. And it's like, well, if you want it to be exclusive and you're going to be rude like this, you need to market yourself accordingly. Their doors were open as far as people knew, but then when the everyday person went in there for a massage, they were like, well, you can't afford it. If you need to ask how much it is, you can't afford it.
Right.
They were so rude. And where did they go, John?
To the concierge. Let us know about it.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
You gotta tell somebody.
When I was there, I had a couple complaints from Carnivino with certain guests. Like, they'll come up to my window, and I'm like, please don't come to me with your problems. I'm just a players club.
That's right.
I don't pull any more strings. Like, I'm just giving you a card that read your data, basically.
Yeah, it was great. Right. I remember we had an Italian restaurant in the Grand Canal Shops. And of course, they were privately owned, and they had a staff.
You mean by the gondolas?
By the gondolas. By the gondolas.
Gondolas.
And they actually had the staff. Everybody was from Italy. And I had a guest up there wanting to complain about them. Yeah. Well, we went there, and this guest was being belligerent. And, we haven't, and they sat us, and then they ordered something, and then they were saying, well, when am I going to get it? Well, the waiter got pissed off and just brought them what they didn't order.
Yeah.
Right, that's what they did. They didn't care.
You gotta be. Having just come back from Italy, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
Here's what's made.
Yeah. Basically, they're saying, "Fuck you." Here's what I'm going to bring you something. Oh, you didn't order the Chilean sea bass? Oh, the ravioli. I'll come right back with that.
I have to say though, I believe you're referring to Canaletto.
This was Zeffirino.
Yeah. All of whom were very kind to us.
They were great.
They were
In fact, I
fantastic.
said, I'm going to go up there and shake their hand for being able to do what I can't do.
Yeah.
Because I got to
the fact
stand here and
that,
let you shit in my ear.
That's one thing I did enjoy about working at that property was that all the employees, we all had the same look on our glazed face was, not again.
You just need a giant sign that says, not my job.
Yeah, but we all relate to each other. Because there have been many times where like, I want to go on lunch break, right? I didn't want to go down to the EDR. There's too many fucking people. Yeah. So I go upstairs to the food court, and we all have the same look, and we all give each other like employee discounts when possible. You help each other out.
No, that's true.
You has a long, shitty day ahead of you.
Yeah.
Here, let me knock 20% off your meal.
That's what made it almost like, we talked about being that family unit.
Yeah. It made it bearable.
And it made it bearable because we all knew. You didn't have to say anything. And
it was just a look.
In Japan, it's real common when you say, hey, how's it going? That they would just say one word. They say shigoto. Means job. And when I first went over there, I kind of thought,
everyone understood.
Everyone understood. I thought I would ask them that in English. I'd have these classes of businessmen, and they would just say it was a job. And I thought, well, maybe their English isn't, they can't say much. But then I realized, no, that's what they say in Japanese. It doesn't need any further elaboration. My job sucks.
Understand.
Your job sucks. What's new?
I'm working right now.
It's like, hey, I see your sadness. You know my sadness. Let's go have a drink.
Yeah. So when I heard about these waiters up at Zeffirino, I just wanted to go up there and shake their hand because it's just like, dude, you have to do what I do. Can't do.
That's right.
You made me piss off.
Yeah.
That's great.
Tell them off. I'll live vicariously through you.
That's right.
All right, guys. I found some cool ones for Area 52 at the Bellagio Hotel. They have two things that people always ask John and I where they were, how to find them, how to get to them. One was the Murano glass, which I was thrilled to see on my trip, and it was a ceiling flower display designed by David Chihuly.
Yeah.
And we always got that question. And then flanking that particular location, which is in the hotel lobby. Also, just off the lobby, flanking that, is the Bellagio Gardens. And they do an amazing job there. The botanical department of the Bellagio, it's seasonal, plus they keep it going throughout the year.
It's always amazing there.
It's just spectacular. And
you can tell there's a lot of effort and a lot of TLC.
Exactly.
Oh
my God. Yeah. Sure. And I've spoken to those folks, and they are so dedicated and so focused, and they do a great job. You never see them except when they're fixing it.
Oh, they're like ninjas.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
it always looks pristine. You're
flower
like
ninjas. Yeah. Now I love the numbers. Like I've always said, at any given time, the display, the Bellagio Garden will display approximately 80,000 flowers.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's not including the decor items that are not flowers.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's impressive. Very
and
impressive.
It is really impressive.
That's a full-time job for sure.
Oh, definitely.
You live here.
That's a whole department
you're
just to
jaded on some of the the strip in general, just looking at it. But the flower displays at the Bellagio are spectacular.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that unfortunately it's kind of like the Grand Canyon. You go there and look at it and you're done. But it's well worth it. It's free. It's and the smells are wonderful. And plus, it's right next to the museum, which you can visit.
You're not done yet because if you're a millennial, you're going to actually make a whole story on your Snapchat and your filters.
Oh yeah.
And you got to take your selfies. And you got to get your friends all together for a big group picture. So it's a big whole day event.
It's still free.
There you go. It's still free.
Yeah,
the best part is free. Yes.
Yeah. But secondly,
I just looked this up.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's 14,000 square footage right there.
14,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Very good. The first Jerry Lewis muscular dystrophy telethon ever held. Now it was interesting. Ever held here. I had to do some double research. Was 1973 at the Sahara Hotel. And Mr. Lewis just recently passed away, and then they held that until the Sahara went away. They held it in Las Vegas until the most recent one. Now, what people don't know though is that the very first telethon was not here. It was at Carnegie Hall in New York City in 1956, and it was he and Dean Martin. I didn't know that.
Dean Martin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the first dollars
That
raised.
makes sense, though. That makes sense. It was him
It
and
does.
Dean.
Yeah.
Because back in those heydays, him and Dino
Martin
made a
and
lot of
Lewis.
movies together.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were
Yeah.
Makes
they were a
sense, I
big
guess, yeah.
duo. And then their friendship broke off for a little bit, and they finally reconnected like years later.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I love the duo though. They were a good team.
And this is the one that I find most. Found this most funny. The cost of Nevada marriage license in dollars, U.S. dollars, is $35. The average cost of filing for divorce $450.
Oh gosh.
So you get screwed no matter where you're going. That's right. Oh my God, $450.
Oh man.
Oh wait, and don't forget, you still got to pay for the parking.
That's true.
You gotta, for real, you got
Or
to pay
the
for the parking
drive-thru.
But
downtown.
you can get a
Drive-thru,
marriage
bro.
license 24/7.
That's right.
the weekends
And in
anyway.
fact, they've recently lowered it for the longest time. I would always quote the license to be 55, and there were two questions: how much is the license? Do I need a blood test? And the answer was 55, and no, you don't need a blood test in Nevada.
Wait, what do you need a blood test for?
Oh, blood test for a marriage license was common.
Real common.
For
So you didn't.
Oh,
have
I didn't know that.
relatives.
That's new to me.
decades.
I didn't know that.
For decades.
But for what though exactly? What are they testing?
You know, John, I'm not quite sure.
Is it for emergency cases in case one of the other spouse got hurt or something?
No.
It was just common practice.
It was common practice, but there was a
common
reason.
practice. Just take more money from you.
Yeah, there was a reason. You know what? I will make that a clickable location on our blog.
All right, cool.
I'll find the answer to that.
I did not know that.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
I get mad at my crew members here that don't look at the blog, Sam. But did you look at the blog regarding the Gerard Butler poisoning himself with bee venom?
Yes, we talked about that.
Yes. Did you go to and did you listen to his thing? Did you click on it and listen to it? The whole thing?
Not the whole thing.
Okay, so it was because you asked me why,
Yeah.
and why in the world would he do that? It was to bulk up his muscles, and to because his shooting schedule was so hard. It also was supposedly give you energy. Okay.
All right.
But again, go to the blog and look at that. And there's a little.
Oh, Gerard.
Sam's shaking his head right now. He's,
Your Leonized days are gone, dude.
Some people would eat a dog turd if you told them it gave them a hard on or something or improved their sex life.
yeah, probably
I'll
true.
try it.
Yeah.
Try anything once.
Oh,
But-
jeez.
Well, thank you everybody here on the panel. I appreciate you putting up with me and all the negativity.
Thanks for having us.
All
Yeah,
of
man.
your comments can be directed right to me.
Oh, no. I'm sure it'll be directed towards me because I'm the mean one.
Oh, you're
'Cause
mean-
remember,
you're the mean one.
I just crapped all over a whole
That's
game.
right.
by
Whole
EA.
game.
That's
It's
right.
a whole game. I just took a crap on it.
But regardless of your opinions, we want to hear them. We love to see all the comments, and we try to address as many as we can. Hit up our new blog. That is our companion blog at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com, and you can see all of the extras that we talked about, including even more as to why Sam hated that game. But you can check everything there. You can go to thepodbaydoor.com or our YouTube channel at the Podbaydoor Podcast. Next week, we are going to have, we were supposed to have her this week, but we're going to have her next week. Sophia Maria, she is a friend of mine, and she is a lounge singer here in Las Vegas. And I'm going to interview her and talk to her about all the weirdness that is being a lounge singer, and see what she's doing now as far
I'm
as
sure she
projects.
has some good stories.
She does.
No doubt.
She's fantastic.
Is she going to sing?
I might try to get her to sing a little. We'll see. But check with us on next Tuesday, and between now and then, gosh, wait a minute. Okay, let's see. I'm doing the math. Is Thanksgiving going to happen between? Yes, it is.
Yes, it would.
So
It's next Thursday.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of those who. Yes.
When is Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving is next Thursday.
Yep. Next Thursday. Yep.
You mean the day before Black Friday?
Yes.
That's the
That's
one.
right.
Yeah, I heard Walmart.
You know, pumpkin
was-
pie day.
yeah.
Come on.
Walmart was going to be open. It said the day before Black Friday.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I
instead
heard
of
them
Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon and Home Depot have been blowing me up.
Bastards.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
Well, that's where you make 90% of your purchases.
That's true. That's true. But everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. For all of you that are
Absolutely.
allowed to eat turkey, please eat it for me.
Pig out.
That's right. And we will see.
Whole Foods,
Oh, wait.
which available
What
through
are you doing for
Amazon,
Thanksgiving,
has a,
Jamey?
Yes. What's
has
that?
Are you
vegan-
getting a tofu turkey?
I don't know. I don't know. I was going to originally have a tofurkey,
Yeah.
but as a joke. But unfortunately,
just not quite sure on that one.
just
But
don't
those
know.
are pretty good. They're not that bad.
Have you had tofurkey?
Yeah, it's not that bad at all.
It's like a tofu urky log, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be
Well,
good.
actually, no. There's a variety because you either get the breast shaped form, or you get the actual turkey form, which is small, and they make it funny and gimmicky where you can actually pull out the turkey leg, but it's tofu and there's stuffing inside already.
I probably won't enjoy a tofurkey, but
the gravy's good. The gravy's not that bad.
Oh, yeah.
No, I noticed it.
A lot of gravy covers the tofu taste.
Exactly. See,
Whole Foods was advertising a $39 or $49 vegan Thanksgiving dinner with potatoes and cauliflower and what have you.
Yes.
For is it enough for two?
And Amazon just announced that Whole Foods is going to be giving discounts for Prime members.
Yes, because they purchase.
Yes. That's interesting.
They're cutting down the prices.
Yeah, so I'm going to get a Prime.
You're all about that. Yeah. Same day delivery.
He's going to get a Prime vegan turkey.
That's right. That's right. But everybody have a wonderful holiday. We will see you next Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.